Close the door.
Okay, we are on the record. Good evening. This is a caucus of the Jersey City Municipal Council. Today is Monday, March 9th, in the year 2015. We had a schedule at 5:30 p.m. It's 5:37 p.m. And we have a full house. All 9 members of the City Council are in attendance. Take it away, Council President.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Our first order of business, we'll bring the Deputy Mayor.
Council President, before we start, can we have a moment of silence for my colleague, Dan Coleman father, and also former Mayor Anthony Cucci.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor? Which item is yours again? Which item?
The Bloomberg grant.
Yep. Robert, do you know which that is?
Let me find that for us.
Bloomberg grant.
Which one is it?
Quite sure yet.
We should accept the Bloomberg grant. For some reason.
All of that?
There was a question about the match. So maybe,
I'm happy to address.
maybe the corrected language didn't make it to the city clerk.
So it's not on the agenda?
So. It was
at the agenda
meeting.
It's not in here.
Not in here.
No, who's correcting the language?
So it'll have to be added as a late item? And,
We'll talk about it when she's here.
So the Bloomberg Innovation Grant granted the City of Jersey City $2.25 million over 3 years with a 3-to-1 match, meaning that the city, during the term of the grant, needs to raise a minimum of $750,000. It's fairly typical in large grants for them to expect matching funds. And the reason why matching funds are required, it's not the first time the city has done matching funds for a grant, is because most philanthropists are looking to see that the city or the grantee is engaged and committed to the process. The money is going to flow as follows. $750,000 each of the 3 years. While it is a $2.25 million grant, the successful continuation of the grant from year to year is determined by the progress that Jersey City makes. The grant funds staff lines and also costs associated with the creation of an innovation team. We join such cities as Boston, Minneapolis, Albuquerque, Los Angeles, and last year New Orleans and Memphis, as well as international cities including Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. We have, in this grant, decided to focus as its main priority on revitalization of underserved or struggling commercial districts. The goal of the I-Team is to work across issues with a team of ultimately 7 folks, supported not simply by the dollars, but also but also consulting help from the Bloomberg Foundation. Now, how can the city raise its match? Cities can raise the match through the budget process and also through grants and gifts. So this year, the first matching fund is due in February of 2016, and then the second installment in February of 2016. Right, so 2016 and 2017. Thank you. So I don't know if there's questions about how the Bloomberg grant works. Oh, you don't have any, of course, okay, all right. So I think some questions that were raised were what happens if the city doesn't meet its match? At that point, Bloomberg Philanthropies has several tools at its disposal. It could decide not to continue the grant. As I said, it's year to year, so while it's $2.25 million, if after year one the city does not meet its match, Bloomberg could have the option of discontinuing the grant, seeking to get those dollars expended back. And in terms of continuation, the goal of the grant and the I-teams is done in the spirit that the city would continue the work beyond the grant term. The only requirement, however, is in year 3 that the director's salary and the benefits that go to the director of the I-team are carried on the public budget, and that would be considered part of the matching grant. It creates its own separate innovation team, reporting to the mayor.
Yeah, I think,
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't see any paper yet, so we don't know, you know. So do me a favor, when you bring up the next time, it's a grant is one thing, but we don't want you, the city council, matching fund the $750,000 just for the payroll. So please let us know if we get the grant so much, City of Jersey matching $750,000, and then how they're gonna spend the money. You know what I'm saying? Because
The way the I-team works and the continuation funding works is that those dollars don't get expended until there's a plan, right? And the matching funds, unlike the funds that come directly from the philanthropy, can be used for program implementation. So if there were certain types of investments that the city wanted to make to support the revitalization of commercial districts, it could be used that way. However, the grant does require that in year 3, that the salary of the director is shifted over to public dollars.
plans, you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
That's very important because we're not just creating another department of payroll, you understand?
Understood.
All
The
right.
grant pays for that department.
We'll see, okay?
So I'll make sure we have materials for the council as soon as possible, and there may be a need for additional questions at the council meeting. Okay. Councilperson Coleman?
Pays for the department for 3 years, but they expect us to continue that department after the 3 years with the director of that department now a city employee. Is that, am I clear that that's what you said?
More nuanced. What they asked the city to do is propose to create a plan for sustainability. There is no requirement other than the shift of the director's salary in year 3, right? And then after. No, but the spirit of the grant is that they would hope that you would continue. Yes. Thank you.
Why don't we bring up, it's not on the agenda, so we got another thing on the agenda, but it was on the last meeting's agenda, the refinancing,
NW,
NW Financial and
the recall,
Dunamar
and our CFO.
and our CFO, yeah. It's a tabled
It
item.
was the table item, for the refunding ordinances from last meeting. Get some questions for our professionals. This is Michael Hanley from NW Financial. So, I know the council had some questions. Well, you asked for him to be here, so we brought him.
I didn't expect you to show today, so I didn't put the documentation. But let me ask this first before we discuss. What is the difference, the BA, what is different today's resolution 10H and the last one?
Oh, that was
determining the form of sale.
So that'll, if the ordinances get adopted,
If we untable them and adopt them,
then this allows the CFO then to go to market to actually do the sale and the form of the sale.
Last time we tabled it.
Right. So that resolution does not get entertained unless the two ordinances get adopted.
This one is actually combines the last two resolution, is that right?
No. Those are two ordinances. That just allows the CFO, once adopted, then to go to the market in the form of the issuance going forward. That cannot happen unless the ordinances get adopted.
So now,
So they're tabled, right?
They're tabled, so they have to be untabled at some point, if you choose to. And then if it gets adopted, then that resolution can be entertained. Without that, that resolution has to be withdrawn.
And I believe the resolution says it's not in effect until after the 20-day stop period of the adopted ordinance, so.
But unfortunately, I didn't expect you come up today, and I didn't expect we discuss the two ordinances today, so, but let's,
The concerns of the council meeting.
yes.
Whether or not everything was gonna meet the statutory criteria, right? That was one.
So now let me ask this, just simply, I'm getting old, so I forgot, So we had, we issued a bond, I think in 2007.
Yes.
Okay? One is a general capital improvement, the other one's a school bond. And those one, over the years, we pay some, bond. Let's say, I think at that time, if I remember correct, one of the bond, the balance $11 million left. But on the contract, the regulation, they say total refinance bond not exceeds $14 million. So now our question was, if the balance is $11 million, while refinance cannot be, while we have to be exceed $14 million, we should be talking about just issue $11 million, what is the balance? While we have to say $3 million above that balance.
Okay, so what happens with municipal bonds is, unlike maybe your mortgage or other types of debt you're used to seeing, there's a period of time where they cannot be refinanced. So it's typically a 10-year period. And if you are doing what's called an advance refunding, which is what these are, there's a period of time where money has to be put into escrow to pay the old bondholder, and they're going to receive interest and principal payments until the call date, which in the case of the 07s is 2017. So we're going to take all the dollars that we fund today and put them in an escrow account, and they're going to pay interest and principal on the outstanding bonds until 2017. What that does is it creates a principal amount that is greater than what you owe today. But in taking into account the lower interest rates that exist today, even with the higher principal, you are going to save dollars on an annual basis by doing this, despite the fact that the principal amount has gone up.
So in other words, even though our principal increased $11 million to $14 million, but because we save this interest, we pay less.
Correct. Total debt service, the combination of the two, will be lower. The city will save dollars in total by doing these transactions.
Another question was that when I see the city ordinance, the cost of in the city of Jersey is not more than $200,000 the service. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We have a two bond, one each bond.
Yeah, there were two different ordinances that were adopted, so they each had their own costs identified within the ordinance. So there was 200,000 in one ordinance and 150,000 in the other. So combined, it was 350,000, and the application had like 330,000 or 315, 313. Yeah.
Calculated over $400,000, but maybe I did wrong. So you say if you refinance a both bond, the total cost of the our fee is less than
350.
$400,000, so $350,000.
Yes.
So even though we pay you guys $315,000 of both bond, and still we save them 3% the total.
Yes, the total savings that you will receive, including all your costs and all the new interest and all the new principal, has to be 3% in order to meet the state's criteria to refund the bonds. Otherwise, They don't get refunded. 3% on a present value basis.
When I see that the city of Jersey City actually sent to submit the application for the bond, when I see the brief summarize,
Yeah.
I think they say that even though our total savings is not more than 3%, still with some saving. That's what it said in the paper.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that question. Can you say that again? Oh, yeah, so we.
So you claim that we save 3%, but in the paper, which is we submit to the local finance government, I think clearly, I hope I can remember right, but they say that our total saving not more than 3%, but amount we save is worth to try. That's the way I think said in the paper.
No, I mean, it could be, there was a series that is not currently being contemplated that had slightly less than 3% savings at the time, and we included it in the hopes that if the market improved and it got over 3%, then we would be able to refund that series as well. But the state is not allowing us, and their regulations don't allow us to refund any bonds that don't meet the savings threshold.
And another one, the balance of the bonds, I think we got like around the 4%. I'm unfortunate I didn't have the papers.
Yeah.
But 4%, I mean, the rest of the year, interest of 4%. So if we order to save 3%, the bond interest is less than 1%. But I don't think there any bond each interest is less than 1%. That's why I'm scratching my head. Not only myself, what I'm asking not come from me. The taxpayer.
I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that you're not seeing in the interest rate like a 3% difference between the interest rates?
Yes.
That's not the way savings is calculated. The way savings is calculated, the 3% that we're talking about, and I should have explained this to start, I apologize, is you take the stream of savings, the annual savings each year that the city receives, and it's discounted by the cost of funds. And that discounted value must be at least 3% of the outstanding principal amount of the bonds that you're refunding.
So do me a favor, because we're not prepared for that. So can't you put on writing the way you explain to us, to the city council? Sure. You know what I'm saying? So you're saving 3% means principal interest. So now this is the way I like to put it as a small business guy. Balance is $11 million. Okay, balance is $11 million. Sure. So that the principal. So if we pay off 2015 or 2012, whatever we say, so $11 million principal plus interest. So total amount of whatever is located here, and you tell us when we issue $14 million. The principal plus interest have to be less than what original amount, less than the cap, have to be 3% difference. So I'd like you explain to us the effect, okay?
Yeah,
both.
I'll do a little memo. I mean, in the application that you had, the way it works, there was about $1 million in savings in the application that we did.
So $990,000.
Over the term of the bonds. Mm-hmm. And the discounted value of that $1 million was $988,000.
Right.
And that $988,000 at the time represented 3.3% savings.
3.3. But after we pay off you guys, actual amount we saving, as I know, is around the
No,
$500,000.
because the costs are funded in the transaction. So that savings is gross. Nothing comes out of that savings.
Nothing comes out of this.
It's already been accounted for because it is paid for out of the transaction.
Okay, so it's a net saving.
It's net
saving $990,000, right?
Yeah.
So if we 990 plus all the fee, actual gross saving is almost $1.23 million, correct?
Yes, if you added the fees back
Yes.
in, it would be it would be that.
So instead of you explain it by orally, I like to you put on writing, circulate all the council members.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some documentation, okay?
No problem. And I mean, yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
but don't send us.
The one thing I would say to the council is rates have risen and are rising. And in fact, this is like maybe slightly below 3% at this point, so taking action is important. I mean,
Yes, we
there have
understand,
been-
you know. Even I say that in the BA, even though we not saving 3%, if we're able to save 2% without any
No,
cost
you
of
get,
taxpayer.
you get nothing.
We understand.
Yeah.
We understand. Even though 2%, we're willing to take a 2%, you know,
Right.
so because any dollar we save is to help the taxpayer. You know, so please, from writing,
Yeah, no
probably
problem.
can to provide the Tuesday, you know, not the Wednesday afternoon, then I got no
No,
way to.
we'll get it out to you tomorrow. It's
Okay,
no
great,
problem.
thank you. I got no questions.
So, if you have other questions from the last council meeting, since we weren't aware that they were going to be here, and I guess I just assumed, but I should not have assumed. We should have notified everybody directly that they were going to be here to answer questions, and if you have any questions, bring it to the council meeting. You'll make yourself available at the council meeting for that purpose.
You can write your phone number so we can call, you know, if you find anything, so you can ask, okay?
What is the estimated savings, I guess, from the last meeting versus if we get this passed now?
Right now, today's market is slightly below 3%. It's about $650,000.
Less?
Total, it's about $300,000 less than it was on February 25th.
And that was the reason for the urgency.
Yes, yes, the time is the key, especially when you get the loan. Right.
So I have one more question, Council President. So it still stands firm that if they don't meet the 3% savings guideline or borderline, that this can't be done, but they'll still have to be paid a fee. Is that correct?
You get paid for preparing the application,
Yeah.
for appearing tonight, not the 300,000 that's in the application. That's only paid upon the transaction occurring, but the services prior to this, yes,
But we still have to meet the 3%.
right.
Okay.
So this is consultant fees are separate? I mean,
But you have different professionals in the transaction, so like some of them haven't done anything and wouldn't be paid. We only charge if the transaction gets completed related to this, but I don't know I don't know what all your contracts say. I mean, you know, there was an ordinance prepared, so I would expect that you would have to pay for the preparation of the ordinance for sure.
If anybody has questions, bring it to the council meeting and make themselves available, and you'll have that memo as soon as possible, the information he's requesting.
actually, we hired a consulting firm, finance consulting firm, just consulting for the bond. Is it? Bond counsel. Yeah, bond counsel, we hired. Is the company?
No, not him, he's a separate bond counsel. He's the financial advisor.
Is it two different?
Correct.
So what do we pay for the other one? Finance, yeah.
They gave the opinion on the ordinance, so we'd have to,
Yeah, they wrote the ordinance.
so,
They wrote the ordinance.
right. And the resolution.
How much we pay per year? I think we pay pretty good dollars for the company.
They pay an hourly rate when they provide service. Only as they provide service do they get paid. So I don't have that in front of us, but.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna need your guidance here. Who else, who's quick and,
Who's quick?
yeah.
Bob Magra should be quick.
Bob, come on up.
Then we have Mr. Keir should be quick. Yeah. You can hit the road.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Bob, I don't know if you want me to discuss 10O and 10P. Um, 10O and 10P aren't resolutions that I initiated, but I can tell you exactly what they are. 10O, resolution authorizing member participation in the Western States Contracting Alliance. It's known as WISCA. And what WISCA is, a number of states got together a number of years ago to identify certain goods and services that all states acquire. And through this WISCA organization, they solicit bids from a number of different types of companies and vendors in order to set a price for certain goods and services. For those of you who can remember, I don't know if you're familiar with the New Jersey state contract. It used to be the state of New Jersey used to go out to bid for similar goods and services in order to set a price to save municipalities from going through the expense of the bid process. This is somewhat similar. It's just it's another purchasing avenue. This is a group. I think it's up to 37 states who are actually part of the WISCA purchasing alliance.
We use this kind of system for the purchasing, but I get complaint from the vendors. Order to go this website, they have to pay membership fee. Is that true?
I don't know whether WISCA charges a fee or not.
I think a vendors complains that order to get in to look at the old house, the biddings, the available, they have to get in the membership fee. But they
registering on our website?
I don't know, but
How much?
That doesn't make sense.
How much? Is it that
no,
many
I
matters?
think
In the bid
the amount is pretty high. See, that's why I get complaint, It's not the case.
If we could get some exact information, because we have several of these purchasing alliances and so forth, cooperative purchasing organizations.
Well, it's not.
It's hard to know without having an exact number.
No. So that's what I'm going to try to find. I'm asking you that. That's the reason.
He's the purchasing director.
No. Yeah, you shouldn't take on resolutions you're not.
I only know WISCA because I purchase a lot off of WISCA. 10P.
Is it yours? Are you sure you want it?
They asked me to write the resolution, so I know what it's all about. 10P, a resolution authorizing agreement with Corporate Training Group. And this is about, Corporate Training Group is a Microsoft business partner who developed a software application for the municipal court to process payments for their old parking tickets. And they continue to use this application and require support of the computer software as well as upgrades to the existing computer software that they have. So this resolution is authorizing a contract with Corporate Training Group in order to provide support and provide upgrades to their existing software.
Any questions regarding 10P?
Okay. We do that last year, correct?
We did that last year.
Yes.
How many outstanding legacy parking ticket is out there? We have to continue to do every year. Still, we not clean out those. Old.
Municipal Court Director. I don't have that information.
Direct that question to the municipal court director, and if we can have an answer by tomorrow.
$1,000 every year. How much we have all the tickets in there. You understand? So we'd like to know that part of it.
It's actually not 70,000 per year. It's around 20 some odd thousand. This year they're going for some upgrades which cost some additional money. It'll probably go back down to the 20,000 next year if they continue to use it.
We'll get the court director on.
Yes, please.
10Q, contract award to CDW government. What this is, we have a number of older network switches sprinkled throughout the city, many of them 8, 9, 10 years old, which have effectively met their end of useful life. And in order to keep our network up and running, we need to upgrade these switches. Basically, all these switches are coming off of Cisco support, so if we have any issues with the switches, Cisco will no longer support us. So the other thing with these switches is they're more modern technology, which will support faster processing speeds and things like video conferencing if the city decides that they want to go in that direction. So these are basically replacing old switches with new ones.
Let me ask a quick question. 30 Mungo Street and 365 Summit Avenue, if we build Cedar Annex building, when this moves, most of this seems like a 30 Montgomery Street business, the office gonna move to the City on X and Summit Avenue also. At that time, we continue able to use this switchboard, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we move out of one building to another building, we just take the switches with us.
Yeah, without any extra cost, right?
No.
Okay.
10R is a contract with Comcast Corporation, and this is for internet service to support the city's new data center at Linden Avenue. Right now, we have a 50 megabyte internet circuit that comes into our data center at One Journal Square Plaza. We're getting a 100 megabyte internet circuit for $300 less per month than the 50 megabyte circuit we currently have at One Journal Square Plaza. I will also tell you that we solicited quotes from a number of different telecom providers, and the $1,600 per month that Comcast quoted on this service was the low price. Verizon's price was higher, a number of other telecom vendors were higher.
Question?
10S is a contract with Software House International for software licenses. You may remember that I came to you last year. The administration has decided to utilize software from a company called Spatial Data Logic. And that software assists in the inspection and permitting process for a number of different city agencies, Construction Code Office, the Health Office, a number of other offices that are involved in issuing permits, doing inspections, things of that nature. All of those will be supported by one common computer application. It also has the facility to contain property records on every property in the city, and it can tie the permits, inspection records, and everything else to that particular property record. The other good thing about this is it's a mobile application. We're just about to buy some tablets to be distributed to inspectors in the field who will be able to remotely access this application and do their inspection and permitting process in the field. So basically this contract is for licenses for the software.
Stored in there as well, like if people submit plans to the building department, do those get stored against the property record as well?
No.
The plans getting lost problem isn't solved by this.
I think, there was some discussion that when the city's website is upgraded, that there will be a facility through the city's website in order to do that. I think it would probably also dovetail with certain GIS systems, which I think the city is also looking to obtain or develop at some point.
Any questions?
And this is
Started January 1st, the 15th to December 31st, 15th.
Yes.
Then we can come on to the council like 2.5 months late, almost 3 months.
We basically didn't have the money prior to this. It's like we would have come earlier if we had the money available.
Okay.
10T is well, yeah, I mean, we didn't have enough in the temporary budget. 10T, a contract with Extel Communications. What Extel does for us is provides us with data communications, cabling, goods, and services. And the reason we're going for an open-end contract with them is that there are a lot of moves going on citywide. We're moving people out of one city facility to move to another. Some of these city facilities aren't cabled for voice or data. So we need a vendor who can actually come in and do that work for us. Just to give you a couple of examples, everybody on the third floor at One Journal Square Plaza is going to be moved to 394 Central. And the third and the fourth floor at 394 Central have to be built out. They have no voice or data capability on those floors at this particular point in time. So cabling is going to have to be installed there. We do some additional cabling at the HHS campus, at 13 Linden Avenue. It's a service that we often have a need for, and the open-end contract allows us to call on this vendor. It's under state contract, they have a very reasonable price, and have provided good service to us for many years.
Let me ask you this one. Cable runs is 100 times 20, so it's almost $200 per linear foot of the cable. That's what it means.
No, it's not for the cable itself. It's the services to actually pull the cable, install the cable. You know, the labor involved in it. That's all part of the price.
Labor is separate. Labor cost is $88. It's a separate.
Yeah,
It seems like the cost is $100 just cable itself.
My understanding of the proposal is if you want a Cat6 network drop, it's a $200 charge for one drop, including a drop is pulling a cable, terminating it at a jack, and you know.
So they charge a linear foot. That's what it means.
I don't think so. No.
So then would you explain to me? They purchase all the voucher here. I think a labor they charge $8 an hour, but now next day Cat 5E cable run $100. I mean, I don't know what it means. 100 times $200, so $20,000.
Yeah, I think their base labor charge, which is part of their state contract submission, is $88 per hour. But in terms of if we ask them to provide drops or cable runs at a particular location, the basic rate, including labor, including cable, would be either $200 for a Cat 6, $100 for a Cat 5e, things of that nature. So it has no bearing on the actual cable cost itself. That isn't really defined in the proposal from the vendor. You know, what the price he pays for the actual bulk cable isn't really part of this contract. He's just saying, you know, I can deliver these goods and services for a price per drop.
Okay. Councilman Bojano.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, the last one I have is 10Z, and this is a contract with Telecom Integrity Group. I have Mr. Kurt Johnson from Telecom Integrity Group here with me this evening. He's appeared before the council on a number of other occasions. The services that Telecom Integrity Group provides to the city, they audit all of our telephone bills, they identify billing errors, they realize savings for the city, but that's just a small portion of what they do. They also do analysis of trends in terms of technology as to what the best technology is for the city to use as far as telecom is concerned. They handle billing disputes with vendors. They help us develop RFPs. Right now, they're providing a very invaluable service to us in that as part of our data center move to 13 Linden Avenue, we have to put in all brand new service at that location, both voice and data. And with their knowledge of the marketplace and the vendors that are out there, they've identified some pretty substantial savings that the city will be able to realize in terms of bringing in new vendors at a much lower cost to the city in order to provide voice and data services.
So this is a new company?
No.
They provide services last year?
No, they've been with us for like 6 years, I think. Yeah.
Now, telephone bill auditing, so if we, because based on their auditing, if we save some dollars,
They get a commission.
they get commission. But they didn't say that. What kind of commission dollar they gonna get? Percentage wise?
Kurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I remember the last year, we pay extra $200,000 for,
Actually, no.
no? Was it?
Basically, I think roughly the amount that we gave Telecom Integrity Group last year was roughly $100,000 overall. Of that $100,000, $48,000 was their basic fees for a year. It's $4,000 a month. And the commissions were in the range of $50,000.
So now, what percentage commission wise? So $48,000 we pay $48,000 to your company. So now you're bill auditing. So whatever you guys just save, how are they gonna charge? Do they have any cap? Any?
No, there's no cap. Just to be clear, there's a monthly retainer fee, and with that, we review the bills, we help prepare the check requests that allow accurate payment of the bills. I'm available for consulting, for technology, trouble resolution, identification. That's a retainer fee. If along the way we identify billing errors and recover refunds or savings, our fee is 20% of that. 20.
20%.
Right. So
your fee is 20% of saving, right?
Right. It's a contingency fee. So I do believe Bob's right. Last year we came in around, I'm going to say maybe a little under 80,000 total paid to my company. Of that, 48,000 was the monthly retainer, and the difference was the savings.
So how much we pay for
Commission last year. Forget about the retainer fee, just commission itself.
What's about 40, 30?
About 40, 45.
$40,000,
Yeah.
right? So in order to save $40,000, those companies make a saving 5 times almost is a $20,000 we're saving, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
So we save
I've been working with
$20,000. But as I understand, no.
No. I mean,
When you pay-
basically, in terms of what we're paying in telecom costs on a yearly basis, we're paying over $1 million to assorted different telecom providers. So Kurt's company is looking at all the billing that these telecom providers give us, and they were able, I guess, what's the total savings they actually brought?
Well, we've been under contract since 2008, so we've recovered $651,000 in refunds, and with the annual savings.
$600,000
Yes.
saving?
Yeah.
Yes, with a 1.1 million in savings.
I mean, there's
savings is $600,000.
Refunds, 650,000.
a refund.
$650,000 plus
Savings.
Savings of 1.1 million a year since 2008. For 2014 alone was 60,000 in refunds, another 123,000 in savings.
Can I have the copy of that? Actually, how much your telephone bill?
we pay now.
Well, like I said, I think our spend on telecom on a yearly basis is probably in the $1 million range.
We pay $1 million.
A year. And how can bring up the saving that kind of dollars? Then actually we pay around $400,000 a year. But last year, even at the last council meeting, Verizon, we pay $900,000 a year. So
No, I think it was 720.
listen to me. To me, number doesn't match. You understand?
I don't understand because we've tapped it out by account number and by circuit number and by line number. And if you want the tabulation, I'd be happy to provide it to you.
Since 2008.
Since 2008, correct.
Since 2008. That's what you mean, right?
Yes.
Not for 1 year. So if we have all the data like that, can we provide all the council members so exactly we know,
In a spreadsheet he can provide you.
If you don't want it, don't give
to us, but I need it, okay?
My question is, do you get a share of refunds and what was the other category? Savings? You get 20% of that? Both
20% of the refund and then 20% of the annual savings.
annual savings?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, probably the piece that doesn't make sense is when we won this business by a bid back in 2008, our first refund was $350,000. Because Verizon, the billing was so inaccurate,
Everybody check yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, you should.
So what happens is you contract with the vendor. What happens is you contract with the vendor for a particular price point. It's a manual entry into the systems to have it billed correctly, and without the right expertise and monitoring, a small error just accumulates over the years. So it was that $350,000, that large refund, gosh, it was like 4 or 5 years worth of inaccurate billing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but
So,
You have to watch out with the telephone.
yeah, so Kurt is our eyes on Verizon to keep a watch over
the other
them.
piece that I did want to mention, Bob mentioned it briefly, there's the data center is going to be moving very soon. So I've been working with Bob all this year to try to come up with the right technology at the right price points. So Your current vendor is Verizon. We're able to save, gosh, almost like 70%.
Yeah, basically,
Going to a different technology and
just to give you an
different
idea,
service.
our monthly cost for the existing Verizon technology is $4,400 a month.
I don't have
and-
that particular right there, but you can take these, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Our current cost is $4,400 a month. We're going to be able to go down to $750 per month.
Wow. Can you do mine too?
I mean, you know what I'm saying, because a normal,
the people have to understand we're able to save that kind of dollars, and also you are the lowest bid, as I understand, appreciate it, come with the lowest bid, but then we just want to make sure.
I'll add to that. I've been doing this work for nearly 25 plus years.
Oh.
And I know it's staggering, I guess is the right word. But every customer that we work with, we're able to refund usually an amount equal to 1 month. So we have pharmaceutical companies, banks, whatever their real estate companies, whatever their monthly 1 month spend is basically what we get in refunds, minimally. And we cut the bill by 10%. I mean, that's kind of the numbers.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg? Come on, Greg. Okay, we've got 10X. This is 10X. This is resolution 10X.
Best Enterprises for delivery of a mobile emergency trailer for the Office of Emergency Management, paid for under the UASI grant.
Is this, have a camera on it?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Oh, maybe this one? No. Any reasons? No.
Got an extra break?
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. Before you today to speak on Resolution X 15167. It's authorizing the purchase of a mobile emergency management surveillance system. The system is basically, I made a copy of what the system consists of on page 2. We currently have 2 of these. This one will give us 3. Basically what it is that if we have an incident or area of the city that we have to cover based on lack of CCTV coverage, we deploy this camera system, pull real-time video feeds. We've used it during the Pulaski Skyway shutdowns at various roadways, Communipore Avenue. We were asked by Councilman Krajewski to have it in one of the parks out in Greenville for a while. So they'll be available for your use if necessary, and available to the police department for different events, parades, festivals, and things like that where we want to supplement our surveillance.
False questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Who's got the fewest here? Director Redfield? Calla? How many you got?
He's got 3 grants.
3. Krista? You have 2. She beats you. Margaret? How many do you have, Margaret? How many do you have?
She's got complicated ones, though.
People are gonna start lying and then.
Ordinances E and F.
E is
I'm sorry?
3E.
3E, I've got various administrative type amendments to the land development ordinance. Over the course of 2014, I just kind of kept track of where we were having questions or where information was out of date, what language was confusing applicants or ourselves within the office. And this covers those types of issues. I mean, the first one is as simple as striking St. Francis Hospital from the medical district. It doesn't even exist anymore. Nothing in here changes their uses or the bulk standards of the zones. It's really all just housekeeping on the language in the plan, in the ordinance.
Questions? There's none. 3F?
3F is an amendment to the makeup of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Some time ago, the state of New Jersey increased the number of permitted alternates from 2 to 4. We're updating our own establishment of the zoning board to allow that. The trick with the zoning board is that you need 5 favorable votes to have an approval, no matter how many people turn out. And when they're only having 5 people show up for a meeting, that means nobody can be opposed to a project. By having 2 alternates, we're hoping that they'll have a larger turnout and there'll be a little bit more diversity on the board to give the chances of an approval.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you, Mary Ann has one. Oh, one question.
The neighborhood commercial district.
Oh, let me pull that out.
Yeah, 3E, sorry.
Neighborhood commercial. Okay, got it.
I was just making sure, is it, and you know what, if you turn to the very back, the NC Neighborhood Commercial District?
Yeah, it was worded really badly.
Okay.
Basically.
So that's just, it's just changing like,
Yeah, there were commas in places that made the sentence not. It was people were unsure as to what related to what based on the commas and the ors and the ands, and yeah. We're not changing anything. We're just making it easier to read. Thank you.
Mary Ann? Which one?
The last item. I. Ordinance, first reading, I.
Reading 3I?
Yes.
And you're, no, it's
4.
4I, second reading. Oh, you're here for a second reading.
That's food handling.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm sorry.
No, hold on.
All right. I'm sorry. Okay. Where am I at? It's the street naming.
3K?
we all know what this is. But go ahead, please explain it.
Well, if you know. Okay. What we tried to do is try to address it from 2 places in the city code. So.
3K?
That's right. Okay. Ready? We ready? Okay. 2 places.
Mary Ann, your attention.
That's right. Two places in the city. Okay. All right. The first is to have a reference to the requirement to apply to the city council for a street name in the zoning ordinance and the land development ordinance. So there's an amendment to that section there. And then the other is to add on to the ordinance that you adopted in December of 2013 and add an additional, basically an adjustment to the definition of streets to make those apply towards any streets that's publicly accessible and public and privately used. So that solves the one problem, and then there was another paragraph added to apply the same procedure for the commemorative naming of streets to new streets, and require that as before a street is completed to be used by the public. And the owner would, apply to the process, and then that recommendation would come from the committee to the city council. And they would choose from the list of names that the subcommittee came up with, or they could request their own, but that would have to be vetted by the subcommittee and approved by the city council as well.
Park Avenue. Well, no more private people being able to name whatever they want.
Yeah.
But we have a list already. of streets.
Yes, you do, and that's in here. Same process. No, it uses that same list.
The same,
It,
it's
yeah.
just adding for those who are private
Yeah.
streets. This is what this is gonna do.
Right now, I guess the only thing we'd have to do is sit down with the clerk's office and make sure, as right now, there's an application form for a commemorative street. It just would have to be, I guess, adjusted or applied to a new street that's not commemorative, to a new street name. That's the only change. That doesn't need to be in this ordinance, that's just an administrative procedure. But the procedure is spelled out here. So if there's anything that maybe we'll find as it goes into place, if it doesn't work, we can adjust it. But this should address all of the issues. The two that are in place, the one you mentioned, Park, there's also another river. They happened before this ordinance, so we would just have to work with those owners, and they're required to dedicate those streets. So when they do dedicate them, you can rename them, or we can work with them now, and they can choose from the list or request a name from you in the meantime.
Okay. Any other questions? This is Councilperson Osborne's. I'm sure if you have questions, she'll be happy to.
I think it's all of ours. I asked for it, but I know we've all asked for it and all want it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys want to toss a coin? All right. We have Jerry Calla.
Okay, 3 resolutions, 10J, 10K, 10L. And I'm not here tonight to ask for money for our communications center, thankfully. The first one is a resolution authorizing a grant through the state for us to enforce our traffic safety and the distracted driving program. During the period of April 1st to the 21st, the state has designated that statewide crackdown on distracted drivers. This money will be used for overtime for police to work during that period. There's no match. That's correct.
21st.
Next one is 10K. As a resolution, grant application, Department of Justice, under the Smart Policing Initiative. This is a grant for $700,000 to provide body cameras for the police department. As part of the grant, we have to partner up with a research partner, and in this case, it's going to be St. Peter's University. And the research partner, and I'll read from the grant, they have to be identified to advise the jurisdiction of the implementation issues, devise an outcome strategy, and provide outcome data to the effectiveness of the strategy. This will provide cameras for all the police officers.
It's a pilot.
It's a pilot program.
It's a pilot program at this point, so we're just, we work with the pilot. If we decide to implement it citywide, then at that point we'll address those issues.
And this is an application.
Yes, it's also an application.
So what's the research partner doing this
They'll look at our whole program, evaluate it, review the data, have a place for our data to be stored, and advise us on how the program and the outcome is. And the last one, another grant application. This is for the highway traffic safety to protect against pedestrian safety, aggressive driving, seatbelt enforcement, and driving while intoxicated. The amount of this grant will be identified at the time it's awarded. Again, there's no matching.
Questions? Okay. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. You got more? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we do.
Good evening.
Yeah.
The first resolution is 15-166 regarding the maintenance of the basketball courts. Jersey City has 7 basketball courts that we have a contract to pay to play award. 10W. To maintain our basketball courts. They're different than other basketball courts, which are macadam. These are the material courts. This company comes in and maintains them. They make repairs to the surface, since it's a specialized surface. They painted, they replaced parts. Many times with these basketball courts, there's some dead zones that the players, are not happy with, so they replace those pieces of a court when needed. Yes, correct. Yes.
Pershing Field is missing. He's going to be upset about it.
Go ahead.
No, for 18 months, I've been hearing from the Director of Recreation that they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, and nothing's been done. And it's more D, Mosquito Park, all right? Last month, when I said to Ryan, he says, oh, ask DPW. For the last 18 months, he was gonna take care of it. So the track has to be done at Pershing Field. It's a horror show. The playground has to be done. Nothing's been done up there, Mark, for years. And all I want to know is, and the people, and I think Michael too, because he's right on the border of the next block over is Ward D. When is Pershing Field going to be done?
You're talking about the track?
The track, playground, and the basketball court. I don't see anything for Ward C and D here in the basketball court. It's all E and F.
The track is a capital project. Now, the architects were asked to make the track smaller to make it able to hold events on it. The county has asked for a second venue rather than eating up the Lincoln Park facility all the time. So the architects are trying to see if they can make the track, shrink it a little bit so it's regulation to hold meets without losing the fields that are there. So that is being worked on right now.
Yeah, well, I've been here for 18 months.
And I'm gonna tell you
But
something.
we just did the capital ordinance in December to fund the project.
How about, all right, playground?
Playground is out to bid, isn't it?
Playground.
That'll be done this spring.
Yeah, I will check with Brian Weller to find out exactly what the time frame is on that.
April, May, then September, now we're back into next year, this year. You know, I mean, you get a little tired of hearing, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. I wanna see something, and so do the people of C and D, something done with Pershing Field and with Mosquito Park.
When the park was gonna be done, but I'll pull it out for you again.
Has nothing to do with you, Mark.
No, it's okay.
You're right. Hearing these promises.
Okay.
Councilman Rivera.
Quick question. Yes. It's contagious. Blacktop compared to the court parks, which is the more expensive one? Because we do have basketball courts in, for example, Ward E, which is 16th Street Projects. We have basketball courts in Ward F that are blacktop that are not done, and they're like being, I don't want to say ignored, but there's a lot of kids that don't use it because it's like a safety issue there, and some of them don't even have basketball courts.
The basketball surface that this is addressing, the maintenance of it, is the more popular court. There are some mixed emotions with the players. I've gotten feedback that a couple of courts, some areas they wanted them removed, but once we make the investment and maintain it, we have to keep it. But the blacktop courts, if they're maintained well, they're good too. All our basketball courts in Jersey City are not this material, though.
So my question is, maybe to Caco is, when can we get something like to maybe start the ball rolling, no pun intended, to like fix some of the blacktop like that, if we can? If we get you a list of parts that need to be like upgraded or fixed.
In order
Right.
of worst condition.
Okay.
And then get us a list and we'll see. I mean, obviously it's not budgeted for, so we gotta
And
see.
some of them can be maintained by our own public works department.
Okay.
Recreation has crews that go out and maintain these courts. So if it's something as maintenance on the blacktop in McAdam that we could do in-house, we will.
They mentioned the 7 park for the basketball court. They're missing the Pershing Field.
Well, that doesn't have the basketball court. That's the material court that we're talking about here. That's a different court there.
The basketball court in the Pershing Field needs the maintenance.
Yeah, we provide maintenance, we do the netting, we do the painting of the lines all in-house. This is just the specialized courts that we don't have the techniques or the materials to take care of.
Other questions? Councilman Gajewski.
Yeah, I know that everybody wants to fight for their own parks and their own ward, but I just want to say it's refreshing to see that Ward A is finally getting 3 areas on no fence Three parks, no, thank you.
That's it? That's it. All right, thank you. Oh, you have two more. Go ahead.
The one is regarding the lubricants and engine oils. I don't have a number on it.
Would that be 10U and 10V are the next two?
Okay. This is regarding,
David Weber is 10V. Which one do you know?
Which one do you want to do first?
Fire fleet is.
David Weber.
for-
David Webb.
10V we're doing.
Okay.
This is for the automotive lubricants to take care of our vehicles. JCIA and parking authority vehicles, now we also share those lubricants with. So we increased the budget. It's a state contract award. It's for 9 months, and the total contract amount is $60,000. Last year, DPW annually spent $40,000 on these lubricants. Some of these lubricants are green lubricants because we have more high-efficiency vehicles, so the lubricants to maintain them cost more money.
And Mark just made reference that was sharing with JCIA. At the next council meeting, we should be having a shared service agreement go before the council for lubricant reimbursement and for gasoline and diesel reimbursement.
That's true. Now, this is just for lubricants.
Not exceed $60,000 contract for this company, but they didn't tell us a price for lubricant, engine oils, and the grease.
They didn't give us a specific price, is what you're asking for?
That's just
Up to that amount, that's what they charge to provide the lubricants to our mechanics. Are you looking for more of a breakdown on lubricants?
Yeah, but actually, if we do right.
The state contract price for oil and.
Oh, state contract.
Yeah, it's a state
This is a
contract.
state contract, this award.
So we just talk about the total amount, don't worry
Yes.
about the individual price.
Correct.
Is the state.
Yeah, we know that. We know the state.
Other questions regarding 10V? Okay. We're done on the lubricants. 10U.
And this is for police vehicles and homeland security vehicles. It's for the sirens and lights for the emergency response vehicles. It's a 9-month contract. It's for 9 months. It's the state contract award also.
Questions? Hearing none?
No.
All right.
That's it. Thank you.
Yep.
You know what?
There is Z9.
Could I just ask him one question? It has nothing to do with none of your resolutions. But I know you were sharing with me how you're gonna deal with the potholes.
Yes, correct.
Could you share it with them, because that's part of all our concerns. We get calls, and I think if you could share with all this at one time, it would be good.
Absolutely. I've been putting a pothole plan together the last few days, last week also, and I have a plan in place to address all the city's potholes, because everybody sees the pothole problems we're having. I know, Councilman, we spoke 2 weeks ago about it. I have 7 trucks that'll be in operation starting tomorrow, 1 per ward, so every council person will have a pothole repair truck in their ward, systematically repairing potholes. We also will have 1 roving pothole truck that'll handle complaints. So all your complaints should go through the RRC. We'll have that 1 truck follow up on those complaints so it doesn't deviate from our other ward block-by-block approach. I've also contacted the New Jersey Turnpike Authority and the Department of Transportation and Hudson County, and I'm glad that they're partnering with us, taking care of their roads in Jersey City beginning tomorrow. Hudson County will be at my place tomorrow at East Linden, and they're going to take care of Kennedy Boulevard from Bayonne to Union City. Yes.
Do you want us to crowdsource, if I put that on Facebook or Twitter and said like, hey, tell me where you find a pothole in downtown Jersey City, they'll come to
I welcome the.
helpful or not?
I think at this point, it might be helpful in a week. Let's see how far we go. We're going to do the main roads first. So each ward, for example, in Ward D, we're going to do Central Avenue, Palisades Avenue, Summit Avenue, and then work on the secondary roads. So that's the ward-by-ward approach I'm taking. I'm very happy to announce that some of the other agencies are helping, like Hudson County. They're going to maintain Kennedy Boulevard starting right away this week. So I've actually committed them to that. The same thing with the Turnpike. The Turnpike approaches, the stretch Star Holland Tunnel, riddled with potholes. So I'm trying to make sure Jersey City potholes are addressed not just by DPW or JCI or the MUA. They're the two other organizations that partnered with me, so I could put 7 trucks out. So go ahead, Councilman.
Really appreciate it. You know, there used to be, they fill the pothole based on coal. That's the wrong attitude to
That is a
approach.
very wrong attitude, and I followed up on that.
Yes.
They would drive over 5 potholes just to fill up the one complaint. So, and that's true, and that's true. And I think by having the time, the ward-by-ward approach, we're gonna see the most results. One problem, we don't get hot tar yet, not till the end of the month or the beginning of April. So we have to use cold patch. But there's a way to use cold patch, and if you do the right thing, the right process with the tamper, cleaning it out, and if you follow the way you're supposed to make the repair, that cold patch could last a while. One more important part of this program is we're gonna map where these cold patch repairs are. So once April and May comes and we've caught up with the cold patch repairs, we're gonna send the hot tar trucks out and dig up the cold patch and fix it the right way. Yes, sir.
Can we add one?
Compared to last study, is that you?
See, as you mentioned today, if we ask coal, RRC, I'm not criticize them, actually we go nowhere. Because they're gonna be skip up that they are passing 5 pothole, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna approach by Main Street first.
That's why I think the ward-by-ward approach is really good.
Okay.
That way, the person, if they had to go to 18 Grange Street, I'll send a truck to make that repair off the complaint. I'm still gonna have a truck drive up Grange Street, eventually drop a cone at the end of the block and do every pothole. I'm also gonna have managers and myself out checking on the progress, because that's what you need to do. You need to supervise and be out there.
Every ward.
Yes.
Can we, every councilman can have their phone numbers for the trucks, who is a supervisor? So we can urge it to some pothole, if they do Central Avenue.
Just so you know, the idea is not to deviate that pothole off his route. You can always contact me, you can email me, and I'll make sure the roving pothole truck goes to that specific complaint. Yeah. That's what's ideal about having 7 trucks. Yeah.
Okay.
And the way I'm doing it is DPW has now gotten all 3 of our pothole repair trucks in operation. We've been doing that all last week. The MUA has committed 2 trucks, and JCIA has committed 2 trucks. That gives us 7. And I'm really happy about this plan. Oh, no, thank you, Councilman. Thank you.
Can I,
I heard. Me.
I can say on that note, folks, on that note, there's also Z9, resolution, the appointment of Mark Redfield as Director of Department of Public Works. And I think everyone thinks you've been doing a great job.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And I haven't given up on vacant buildings, Councilman, but I'm not going to get to them till April, I think. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll see you at the meeting. Sounds good. How long do I have? Do we have other second readings? Yeah, okay. All right, so second reading ordinance, farmer's market. If you have any questions at this point, I think from the farmer's markets, the SIDs, everyone's concerns have largely been addressed. There are some open issues with the Journal Square area and the Friends of the Lowe's, and have conversations with Councilman Bogiano and the Friends of the Lowe's and Don Smart at SID to try to come to some mutual understanding, and hopefully that will happen. It probably won't happen before the second reading. But if anyone has questions, Margaret DeVico's here as well. Oh,
4I. Aye.
4I.
This is the last second reading.
So, Margaret DeVico?
No questions.
Yeah, this has been bouncing around for a while. Just here for, the HHS knows that there might have been, so we just wanted to.
All right, no questions?
No? Oh, yeah, and then sliced fruit is on the agenda too. So while I'm here. Were there any questions about the sliced fruit ordinance? It addresses the same chapter of the code. So there are fruit vendors who would like to be able to slice fruit on site, such as mangoes, and just serve it right there. Right now, the license that they've been issued historically is an agricultural market license, because otherwise, if they're preparing food, it would be a food truck, but they're not really a food truck. They're just produce vendors who want to be able to slice fruit, but that counts as preparation. So under the existing definition of an agricultural market, they weren't allowed to prepare foods. So we're just adding the words "and slice fruit" to the definition of agricultural market, so that these produce vendors can slice fruit and serve it on site, given that they adhere to food handling regulations set forth by the state. So they have to have running water on the premises, they have to be able to wash their hands, just so it's clean, and they'll be able to access that license as they always have, but also be able to serve sliced mangoes legally without us ticketing them.
It's not only require cold water, they need hot water.
Right.
Also.
Well, yeah. Did Mr. Bohr come here to? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, Inspector Bohr knows all the regulations that are required for a food truck vendor. So it's hot and cold running water. They're not going to require refrigeration or anything like that, because they're not serving meat or frozen foods.
You cut the honeydew this size, left over. Honeydew. Yeah, honeydew. You cut the half of that. Now half is left. How are you gonna keep it fresh? Eat it. You gotta dump it.
That's for Inspector Bohr to determine.
That's why we not just things, but we carry about this council concern is public health. If we did cut it, you gotta clean that knife.
Right.
What are they called? Cooking bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
In order to do that, you have to have hot water over 110 or 120 degrees. To provide that kind of water, you have the propane gas to warm the waters in the car. Not only that, cut the honeydew, not only use oil, but whatever you cut, you gotta keep it fresh in the summertime. So you need an ice basket or some kind of freezer to keep it fresh or protect the public, you know what I'm saying? So now all those things to provide food truck, hot water, cold water, and freezers. You know, it's a lot of things to require, but how many, I don't know, you guys know.
Our inspectors are they're going to be looking for all of those things. I mean, the health inspectors are aware of all of that, and it's their job to make sure that if somebody is preparing food on site, even if that preparation is as simple as cutting a piece of fruit, that they are compliant with the state's regulations on food safety and food handling. And they're happy. Inspector Bohr is aware of that. He and I had a lengthy discussion about what exactly this would entail as far as inspections go if we change this definition.
So, in order to do that, probably somewhere here, in order to you sell slash of food to sell, those kind of things we should put in here. You know, just to say, inspect where all the issue. I think that's not enough to protect the public health, safety issue. You know, I'm not happy with that. Just give the blank ordinance to inspect. You know what you're doing. Do what. I think that's not right. You know. If they provide all those things, we all feel comfortable to pass this ordinance, you know what I'm saying? Right. But as it is, I'm not feel comfortable. As I say, these things happen 1950, 60, undeveloped country. And then we bring back most of modernized society in the United States, bring up those kind of the style of the business. I think that's not right.
I can assure you that the intent of the legislation is not to set food service in Jersey City back half a century.
Councilman, we'll have some happy people there.
Yeah, and Happy will be there on Wednesday.
Happy will be there.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for your assistance. Who else do we have? And what else? City Hall?
We got the Brian, the City Hall Annex. We have Brandon one here for City Hall Annex, second reading.
Okay. Is it first reading or second?
Diana,
Diana, you want to do this first reading?
What are you doing?
What do you got?
3H and I,
3H.
which is a 5-year. It's the Navaria group. This here, this team here. Yeah, this is just a basic, 5-year for an 11-unit structure going up 850 to 852 Newark Avenue. There's commercial retail on the ground floor. It's really not, it's unremarkable.
I think it's remarkable, Jim.
I'm sorry. I'm still preoccupied by the fact that when I cut honeydew at home, I don't rinse my knife off. I'm now paranoid that I'm not doing it right, so forgive me. Okay, 3I is a 10-year, 1719 Division Street. Mr. Pepe is here for the developer. This is in... It's this is a 10-year, 18 units, 5 stories. The one thing that I will point out about this particular pilot is that the service charge is different. It deviates from the policy in that the service charge is not 10%, it's 12%. And this was my recommendation because when we did the fiscal impact cost projection, we noted that the cost benefit analysis was a slight loss to the city throughout the term of the abatement, and it didn't shift in the city's favor until the 10th year. So, so upon agreement with the developer, and we did notify the mayor, it was agreed that we would increase the pilot so as to avoid the cost benefit coming out against the city.
So 12% of gross income, right?
Yeah, it'll be 12% of gross income instead of the standard 10%. And I would just like to point out that, that in my estimation, this is a testament to how well-grounded the policy is, because this is the first time that the cost-benefit analysis has come out. It wasn't really that great. It was about a $4,000 loss to the city. But still, we felt that under the statute, our job is to weigh the different factors and come to an agreement that would be in the city's best interest, best economic interest. And
Okay, now, questions? Okay.
This one, service charge birthday conventional. I just want to make sure your chart year 10. Annual service charge you put in the 57,956. You have to correct the 67,890.
wait, you're looking at?
Service charge birthday conventional.
Yeah.
If you see the chart year 10 years.
Yeah.
Annual service charge with facing less land tax credit is 57,956. It's
Yeah.
a wrong numbers. It's supposed to be 67,890.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just to make sure that I don't want to lose $10,000. You understand, right?
Because I wanted to see, when we were doing this analysis, we looked at different factors to try to get the cost-benefit analysis to come out in the city's favor. And one of the things that I did was I asked the tax collector to prepare a 15-year to see if that would make a difference. And it really didn't shift. It didn't really shift things in the city's favor. It was always static at year 10. So we opted not to have the 15-year term, but to stick with the 10-year as per the policy and just increase the service charge.
10 years is a 12% annual gross salary. It's not bad, actually.
I mean, obviously, we agreed to the 12%, but again, I think Councilman Boziano pointed out, this is an area that has not experienced a great deal of development. It's a very difficult area to develop in because of the softness of the soil, the expenses involved. I think Councilwoman Osborne is looking at a redevelopment plan that might better direct development to that area, but for the time being, we're going to be a catalyst project. We're the forerunner,
And that is the reason why the property values and the rents that are expected don't return enough to cover the city's expenses. It doesn't do it under the pilot, it wouldn't do it under ad valorem, but we agreed to the 12% because we don't want to be draining from the city.
Yeah, to add to that, it would have been the same loss if it had gone conventional as it had been under the 10%. So this is really the best, the city makes out the best with this.
The commercial space, they charge very low, $24 square feet for the commercial square. So make sure their income higher than what they report over here. So make sure we, 2 years later, auditing their book.
Well,
So
we
can
audit,
collect
we
the
require an audit every year per the statute, and our tax collector does a phenomenal job.
Okay, great. God bless you.
Would you be interested in renting some space?
No.
All right. Thank you. Welcome to daylight savings time. Yeah. Go ahead, bring him in. Just bring him. Who's here? Greg Corrado.
Greg?
We also have on, folks,
4C. Granny wine?
4C is a second reading,
Right.
and it's the City Hall Annex.
You know, we have the developer here, and if you have any questions. Right.
We'll be here on Wednesday night.
And they will be there Wednesday night as well.
So on 4C, any questions on 4C?
Okay. So they'll be available Wednesday night. Okay? Thank you, gentlemen.
Sorry about that.
Folks.
Ambushes at council meetings. We have a caucus. If someone wants to talk about something,
Right.
it should be caucus, not ambushed at the council meeting. Anyone have something to say about this ordinance 4C, regardless of how tired we are?
Sometimes between Monday and Wednesday, things pop up and you think of things. And you're not ambushing anybody, you know.
No, I'm just.
Yeah,
But this
okay.
is the second reading, so we've had plenty of
Robert,
time.
I don't mind as a city clerk, you conduct a meeting. But when you say that, what city council asks a question anytime, any place relative to the council meeting, if he describes ambush, I'm not feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We're not ambushing anybody. I think it's not right to say the ambush, you know.
No, I'm saying now's the time to ask the question.
Yes, as Councilman Rich Bojar even say that, now till that, you know, how many pages? Almost 60 pages, you know. When they review, first reading, second reading, ourselves, third, first reading, we can find something we have questioning. And if we have question, we have a right, not because of me, as a representative council, we have a right to ask, you know, please. Sure. Thank you.
Correct, but do we have any questions?
There are no questions.
So we'll move on. So now we are at the budget. Is that?
Do you want to do that?
Yes, budget introduction. Let's keep it on a friendly tone here. Let's keep it all friendly tones and.
No, so
This is 10C.
So council, we are giving you a larger binder, and you're probably asking yourself, why is there so much empty space? Because as you prepare,
We need one.
there you go, there's two right here. So, in years past, we've given you two budgets. We've given you one with the introduction line item and some information in it, and then we've given you a second one for your departmental budget hearings. This year, instead of giving you that second book, we're just gonna give you that insert and put it right into that book, so you never grab the wrong book when you come to your budget hearings. Everything will be in one binder, so you're gonna get information related to each department, all their employees, names, titles, salaries, their budget requests, will all be added into that book, you know, shortly after introduction, okay? So we'll fill the gap. You know, the budget is being introduced to the council on Wednesday. It will maintain, as the mayor had previously said at his state of the city, stabilizing the municipal tax rate for 2015. We cannot comment yet on the county or the school portion yet because we haven't received that information from them. But from the city's perspective, it is going to be a flat rate in a very challenging year, for that matter. And this issue is going to come up, and I'm going to talk about it now, and I'll probably have to say it a dozen more times between now and adoption. But in 2015, we have an anomaly in the calendar. Your payroll. For payroll purposes, we get paid 26 times a year. 52 weeks in a year, we get paid bi-weekly. You normally get 26 pays. But the way the calendar works, and it happens every 10 years to us, that there are 27 payrolls this year. So there's an extra $9 million we have to fund in this year's budget. What happens, you're asking yourself, why is that? So when we get paid 26 times a year, if you divide your salary by 26, I'm sorry, let me say it this way. When you get your W-2 at the end of the year, it never matches your annual salary. Because why? You're usually short of 1 day's pay. Every 10th year, and actually you take your annual salary divided by 26.1, that's what your gross biweekly check is. You look at your check next time, divide it by 26.1, that's going to be your gross pay. That 0.1, I'm sorry? This is our 10th year, so year 10, we're getting paid for, you're getting paid 27 times. You're catching up on that 0.1 for 10 years. So that's what's happened in this year's budget. We have an extra $9 million we're funded in this year's budget to make up for those 9 previous years where you're short. So this year, every employee's so your annual salary this year is going to be, or your W-2 is going to be 2 weeks greater than your annual salary.
If we know that happens every 10 years, then shouldn't we set aside?
So you're absolutely right, Council President. In a perfect world, there should be a reserve of that 1 day's pay set aside in the budget. So hopefully, when we move forward in next year's budget, we think about this and we plan for it. So, 10 years from now, that council is not facing that kind of problem. It'd be great to set up a reserve. It looks great, with all the financial institutions when we do that. So that'll be our plan moving forward. But, it wasn't done since 2005. And so we're paying the piper this year. So with that challenge, we were still able to get the municipal rate down to flat. All right. There's going to be 100 more questions between now and.
I just opened this thing up. Right. This is totally. I turn the page and I come through. It says Mayor's Office. How come between 2013 and 2015 went up $1 million? Let's say $1,700,000 some odd $1,000.
Is that for what? That's because now in 2013 the RRC was not in the mayor's office. The RRC became part of the mayor's office in 2014 for a whole year. It used to be the Mayor's Action Bureau used to be a division within the business administrator's office. In 2013 it was not.
RRC right here.
So if you look on page 18, you'll see that the RRC is shaded, and that is in the mayor's office page. You'll see the RRC shaded, and the numbers at the bottom of the graph on the top left are the mayor's office budgets. Then there's the total mayor's office budget. You'll see at the top there, which reflects the inclusion of the RRC as well. The RRC is also split out just because it's an important group that people like to see separately, but yeah, technically the mayor's office includes the RRC budget.
You say the RRC is a major portion of what? Major what? No,
It's important. It's important.
In the mayor's office, and people, because of its high profile.
Never mind, I don't want to get into it right now.
So the agenda includes the resolution to introduce the budget. It is not, again, just to reiterate, as
Not
Brady
to
says,
adopt.
it's not to adopt, it's just us receiving it, and basically, we take the handoff, is what it is, right?
Correct.
And you'll be scheduling hearings and all that.
So we're gonna have the same process last year with every department?
I think we want to schedule these a lot quicker and make them more convenient for all the council members in that sense. And so Robert will facilitate all of the scheduling around that and just schedule them out. If there's a particular, Robert, I'm going to ask you if there are folks who really want to know about certain departments and want to be involved in those, so somehow accommodate those schedules to include them in those, so they're available for
We'll
them.
begin at 5 o'clock in the evening. And people will do our best to accommodate people.
Well, I'm gonna suggest if there are things that they really wanted, council members wanted, hearings and for particular departments that they really want to be a part of, that we make sure that they're.
Schedule, we'll do these.
No, to schedule it around their appearance. It's their hearing.
Right.
It's the council's hearing. It's not the.
I agree.
But what?
Let Robert know if there's anything you really want to say.
If you have a special need, let me know. But we'll schedule these on off council meeting weeks.
In the evening.
In the evening, figure Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Because I do recall we had a 6:30 Health and Human Services public hearing that no one attended on a Friday last year.
Let's do them all on Friday.
Yeah. So, that's what I mean. So, what?
Send, if your office can send a list of all the departments or offices or autonomous agencies that we're going to be having hearings for, and then people can identify and let you know what they're really passionate about. Yeah?
What I'll do is I'll take the bigger hitters and make them at 6 o'clock, and that'll give everybody ample opportunity to be there. Okay?
Big hitters, I like that.
So,
Big hitters.
so now, the city council Robert gonna be scheduled for all the department hearing, right? Number one. Number two, after that, the last year, Councilman Chico, just pay attention to me. He's listening. You're listening, okay. And then after that.
So, I'm listening to you.
Okay.
I can mark it
And
down,
the
so don't
last, I mean, year, what happened that we passed actually city budget after spend the 75%. I think it's not only, it's not only blamed at the administration side, but actually city council has a major responsibility that we delayed, So this time after that, can we set up a subcommittee for the budget committee? So last year I requested, I'm not able to get in, but this year I openly requested I'd like to join the budget subcommittee to look into the fact, okay?
So I'll take your request to
Okay, good, thank you.
I am listening to you. And the only reason why I can't look at you because your Rolex is blinding me.
Okay, good folks, come on. Let's keep this on. Your request is heard, Councilman, and it'll be taken into consideration, okay? Thank you.
Council
Agenda.
Council members, we have an ordinance companion to the budget to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank.
Yeah.
We do this every year.
Let's talk about that a little bit. There is a second reading one. Please defeat that because the percentage in there is wrong. This is the corrected copy. So second reading you should defeat. This is the new one that's corrected. Second is the same one, Councilman. So the, 4A to defeat would be replaced with 3A.
Just an error. Needs to be fixed.
To add rules and regulations for skate park in Berry Lane Park. C is adopting a series of disabled parking spaces and repealing others. D is amending the traffic code, amending the hours for the right turn at red signal at Monmouth Street and Grand Street and Grand Street, Marin Boulevard and Grand Street, Warren Street and Grand Street, and Washington Street and Grand Street. School days, all approaches. We did E and F.
Council President, I believe this is to address your concerns? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. They got everything? They got it covered? Yes. Okay.
Creating the new position of Director of Communications Center.
Why is this wrong? This is the director of the Communication Center at Bishop Street for Public Safety. They now have a civilian in charge of the whole building. They've never had that before. So they've hired a gentleman to oversee the entire complex. He's not a cop, he's not a fireman, he oversees everyone in there. He was a cop, but he's now a civilian, and he is in charge of the entire building, in charge of staffing, personnel. The streets? For the Department of Public Safety, Bishop Street, communications, 911, dispatchers,
CCTV.
all the CCTV, all the other IT-related functions within the Public Safety Department. This gentleman within this title is hired to oversee that.
What's that?
As opposed to before, there was
I got the picture.
uniforms.
Your uniform, you had the police run its own side, you had the fire run its own side. This gentleman has everyone answering to him.
And this is one of many steps that will happen to improve some of the issues that we've identified in 911. Over the years, there's been a series of issues identified there. This is one of the steps to improve them.
Right, we're trying to get rid of that line in the sand where one side was police, one is fire. He's trying to, the public safety, change the culture over there, make it a public safety building, not a police/fire building.
All right. We did H and I. J is amending the traffic code. This is creating a Zone 11 on-street resident-only permit parking to include Apollo Street, Bergen Avenue, Westside Avenue between Duncan and Fairmount, Boland Street entire length, Britton Street entire length, Duncan Avenue between Bergen and Westside Avenue, Duncan Court entire length, Fairmount Avenue between Westside Avenue and Bergen Avenue, Kennedy Boulevard, East Side, Duncan Avenue to 2622 Kennedy Boulevard, and the west side between Duncan Avenue to 2615 Kennedy Boulevard, and Montgomery Street south side between Westside Avenue and Bergen Avenue Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Councilperson Wong.
I would just like to ask, how do you go about parking, permit parking? Because when I first took office, I inquired about that, and they said they have to be near a school in order for it to happen.
Different zone, that's it.
No, I'm telling you.
I don't know the procedure.
That's what I want, that's why I want to know, because I know.
No. It doesn't have to be a school.
I'm telling you what they told me.
It doesn't have to be a school. In fact,
Residents and all of that.
in fact, it was
right.
done initially close to mass transit stations where people lived in.
So I think the question is, how do we do that?
Please, how did this become about? Because I know when I first took office, somebody wanted to go for within parking zone in their area, and they told me it couldn't be because you have to be near a school, in which, I'm told what they told me.
So if you want, I'll explain.
That's fine.
What's that?
I'm positive, because I remember it quite well. They said you have to be near a school or something in order to permit parking, zone parking.
Okay.
Other questions or comments?
All right, so let me just say this.
Explain.
I'll explain this. I think I'll try my best to do what I can here. But let me explain that this ordinance, I had 3 community meetings, right? Because the people complain about people parking their car there, leave it there, take the bus, go to New York, and they're there. Resident come back, they come home, they can't park the car. So they did a survey, they did a petition, and everybody signed the petition, do all these blocks, and I had a community meeting where they all was there. So there's a couple people who said they didn't receive no letter. So I says, good, so it's gonna go first reading, second reading, you could come to the council meeting and you could speak for or against it, and then we'll take it from there as well. So, but I give them, they had like 3 meetings on this, zone parking. And I'm gonna have the committee person present at the meeting to answer question as well.
And this resident only, is that the thing where you're gonna get ticketed if you park and you don't have a sticker? So there's no.
2 hours.
Right, 2 hours park.
Oh, it's a 2 hour, it's a 2 hour thing.
2
So
hours,
you're
yeah.
allowed-
2
you're allowed
hours,
to park
yeah.
for 2 hours.
2 hours,
Because I
yeah.
think there's some of them that
Yeah.
if you park there,
You'll get a ticket.
you get a
Yes.
ticket.
It's resident only. It's like around NJCU and.
Right.
So they boot them.
It's not a 2 hour.
They boot them over at NJCU.
Right.
Because there's at least
Well-
one downtown, because I know I got a ticket there.
Right, the zone 11, after certain hours, if you park there, you get booted.
Yeah, well, that's the question. What's the amount of do you get permits and get ticketed?
Yeah, because people park and they leave their car there. The kids even park at St. Peter's and leave their car there and they go to college and all that. And these people, taxpayers, come home, they can't even park their cars.
It's real, yeah, real problem. But know that is Woody coming with us?
So listen, so that's why it's coming for the council for first reading, second reading, everybody will be there to answer questions. I recommended Corporation Council, if we could get, actually, BA, could get traffic, someone from traffic, and Director Boretti.
No, that was the only interest I had. Stumbled in.
Yeah, second reading, yeah.
I've seen it done by mistake in other areas, and if you wind up getting booted or anything like that, or towed.
Look, there is, and I'll tell you, when I was the 8th Councilman Dave Donnelly, someone actually proposed this for Clendenny Avenue, and the guy went around and got petition without no community meeting, and they voted on it, and then the amount of phone call came in, they had to rescind it, because like the petition was fake signature they got in it. So that's why I literally had a
Mailing?
Yeah, they had a community meeting.
Mailing.
If I mail letters.
Right, did you mail?
Did I mail letter for community? No, they went around with flyers for the whole, all East Block, and put it in door to door. And then we had a meeting at St. Paul Episcopal Church, so. Like I'm saying, this is what the taxpayer wanted, this is what I proposed. They have the second reading to come. If they're for it, it's a council discretion. If the taxpayers support it, and if you guys want to support it, I requested from the BA, someone from Parking Authority, someone from Traffic and Engineer, so they could answer all you guys' questions.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, K we did earlier. L is a ordinance, rededicating the municipal council chambers as the Anna and Anthony R. Cucci Memorial Council Chambers. Lost a good guy last week.
Would you like to say that? Yeah, okay. But you were looking at me, I wasn't sure if, got it. Yes.
It's all time.
We are now up to second readings.
Yeah. Joanne.
Are there any questions
That's
regarding any of the second readings that weren't already covered?
Joanne.
And 4A is going to be defeated. And all the rest will pass. Okay, for the top of the resolutions, Robert? 10A?
Okay, I'm getting there, Councilman. That is an emergency temporary appropriation.
Any questions? Moving on.
B is authorizing calendar year appropriation reserve transfers. C is the introduction of the budget. D is also a companion to the budget introduction. It's authorizing an accelerated tax sale.
This is the tax sale is done in December for anyone that has not paid their taxes during the year. This allows us to get our tax collection rate higher than it would be without it, which is, it's a budget help, significant help.
Okay. 10E?
Resolution authorizing a private sale of tax sale certificates owned by the city of Jersey City.
This is one of the liens that was not sold in December, and therefore we can do a private sale.
10F?
Authorizing the BA to execute a discharge of mortgage affecting 395 Woodlawn Avenue. G is canceling real estate taxes on Morris Boulevard.
Got billed twice.
H, we alluded to earlier with Donna Maurer and the financial advisor. That's for determining the form and other details of the general obligation refunding bond. So we'll be taking those two ordinances off the tabled agenda.
If the council votes to do it. H, you did.
I is acknowledging and accepting the hold harmless letter and insurance coverages for the event titled Fist for the Fighting Irish. J, K, and L were done earlier. M is the
Excited.
closure of Division Street from 6 to 7 for the Ferry Street Boys for the St. Patrick's Day Parade celebration. N is closing Barrow Street from Columbus Drive to Newark Avenue, Bay Street from Erie to Newark, Erie from Newark to Bay, and Grove from Morgan to Columbus, and Newark Avenue from Grove to Jersey in September for the historic Downtown Special Improvement District, for their All About Downtown Street Fair. We did O through X. Y is authorizing an extension of an emergency contract with Control Services LLC to provide installation of a temporary sidewalk bridge at the Louis Theater. Z, we did earlier. Z1 is the renewal of a agreement between the city and Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield.
The next, Z1, 2, and 3 are exercising the option 2 in the resolutions the council approved last year for insurances, for medical, life insurance, just exercising option 2, or year 2. Sure.
Z1.
So, health insurance costs $52 million. Yeah, and the G2 is life insurance for non-management 2060, and management is $100,000. All this one involves the brokers. How we pay the broker fee? Based on fixed price or based on total amount of the premium what we pay?
It's not a flat fee based process.
It's a flat fee?
It is not.
It is not based, they charge it based on?
They charge based on a
Based on
percentage of the people covered.
So now, then, can you tell us that Z1, $52 million, so what is the amount of broker fee?
The top of my head, I won't, but I could tell you what their fee they're charging us by tomorrow. I don't have the broker information since that was not on the agenda, but I'll get you the broker information.
So do me a favor, then, Z1, how much are we gonna pay broker fee for based on $52 million, approximately? And the Z2, life insurance, $260,000, and the G3 is another $100,000. We talking about almost $55 million. Reason is G1, G2 is almost the same company. US what? Sable Life Insurance Company actually have a connection with our Horizon Blue Shield company. Seems like they are backing up each other. So now, also my question is that this is a renewal, 2 years contract. Then our premium what we pay is the first year and second year should be different. You know what I'm saying? And I think the last time you told me there was a fixed rate we pay for.
No, never, we never said that. That's not true.
Because I have a question regarding the broker fee, because I was uncomfortable the city of Jersey pay based on total premium. Because if premium get higher, broker get more. So actually we're not gonna get it. I mean, we get, but we got a less chance to get lowest price. And also if the premium is, the broker fee is involved, I don't know why we not put out the bid to give to us.
Well, we did, Councilman, and the medical insurance that Horizon's gotten, that did go out to bid, and those numbers came to the council last year, and we showed you that Horizon's number was best as compared to the second, and a lot of the insurance companies didn't even bid on us for whatever reason. I think only 2, Horizon and a second one. And the numbers that we showed the council demonstrated that it was the best price.
Yes, we understand.
Okay, well, no, I want you to make sure you understand that, because you're making a statement that you may not get the best price. You're suggesting something that's not true here, because we gave you the information and we demonstrated to you that Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield was the best price when it went out to bid. Okay?
But we have no way to know that really we get.
Well, you're saying 2 different things here, Councilman. These are renewals of our insurance coverages. You're asking about broker information, which is not on the agenda, which we're not prepared to answer tonight, but I will get you the information that you've asked for as quickly as possible.
Okay.
But that has nothing to do with these
This has nothing, I mean, this is just, you know, it was a 3-year contract. You know, we were advised that we just couldn't do one resolution to cover the 3 years. We have to do one each year. We did one last year, we're doing one this year, and this will be asked again next year. Okay?
All right, so let us know that, you know, premium or the commission, how much we're gonna pay, right? Right?
Okay, Z2 is the usable life insurance company for non-management employees to provide life insurance. Z3 is Dearborn National Life Insurance to provide life insurance for management employees. Z4 is a professional services agreement with our licensed veterinarian, Dr. Buckholtz, for the animal clinic and hospital of Jersey City. Z5 is a professional services agreement with John Curley to represent the city of Jersey City and Donna Maurer in a matter of 247 Manila Avenue, LLC, et al. Versus the city. Z6, resolution reauthorizing a professional services agreement with Palumbo and Renaud to represent police officer Nathaniel Montanez in the matter of Michael and Carvissa Wheeler versus the Jersey City Police Department, et al. Z7, amending a professional services agreement with the law firm of McDonald McCord PC to serve as special counsel to represent the City of Jersey City in tax appeals. Z8 is applauding the 2015 St. Patrick's Day Parade honorees. Z9, we did with Mark Redfield. Z10 is hiring Chasen Laner and Lamparello for the PPG litigation. Z11 is a resolution honoring Eswar Ananda Padma Naban.
That was pretty good.
Is that how we say it? VA. Can I
Yes, sir.
ask you a question?
Who's that?
G1, G2, G3, G4.
Break it into 3 parts.
Oh, no, the G1, G2, G3.
Yes, sir.
How we selected then broker? We brought the, you know, consulting company, how we,
There was a request for qualifications back in 2013.
Okay.
And then a recommendation came before the council to award contracts to these providers.
then do me a favor. Can I copy of that? There's a RFQ. Can I have a copy of RFQ we issued 2013?
For the broker services, that's what you're
Right.
asking for? Yes, I'll get you a copy of
I
that.
need that one. Yeah, please.
That's cute.
No, RFQ.
RFQ.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Z12 commemorating the 50th anniversary of Hudson Catholic High School, and Z13 will be the Bloomberg grant that was spoken by Vivian Brady Phillips earlier. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion, second.
Folks, I just want to let you guys know I'm not going to be there on Wednesday, but Joanne will be covering.
Councilperson Ramchal, seconded by?
Second.
The president. With everyone except Councilperson Osborne absent, say goodnight. Good night. We're out of here, thank you.